Johnny Talk Sports here at the Week 10 NFL predictions. Last week, 10-3. That, I believe, is the best record that I've had this season. The last 2 weeks have been good. 10-4 week 8, 10-3 last week, and 3-1 against the spread each of the last 2 weeks. So, hopefully, this momentum continues. It was a slow start for me this year, but I think I've climbed my way back into things. So hopefully it stays that way. We'll find out my picks since the spread are this week a little bit later. But first, let's get to these Week 10 NFL predictions. So we've got a couple good matchups this week. Maybe the matchups aren't really as exciting as they are on paper, but I think we'll get some good games this week. This Thursday night football game, it seems like one of the best this week. The Carolina Panthers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both these teams are very confident right now. The Steelers had a little bit of a slow start to the season, but they've got a winning streak going. And the Carolina Panthers, I'm just not sure to feel with the Panthers. Some people aren't sold on them yet. Some people are sold on them. But the thing is, I'm going to go with the Steelers. I just feel like the Steelers right now are confident. They've had some distractions this season with Le'Veon Bell not showing up to the team. Still, he said he would show up week 7, but we're heading to week 10 and he's nowhere to be seen. But the Steelers have their confidence in James Conner at running back, as he had a little bit of a run of having less than 100 yards rushing, but I think he's starting to pick it up a bit. I feel like the Steelers have confidence. They have confidence in their running back in James Conner. I think the Steelers will win this matchup. Next, we got the Detroit Lions and Chicago Bears, and I'm going to take the Bears. I just like the Lions. I don't think the Lions are that bad of a team, but they just can't seem to get it together at some points. So I'm going to take the Bears. I think the Bears are... I know they haven't beaten good competition as of late, but I feel like the Bears... I feel like they can make a run for the division. Right now they're in front of the NFC North, so I think the Bears will keep up their winning streak they got going on. Next, we got the New Orleans Saints, who gave the Rams their first loss of the season last week, and the Cincinnati Bengals, who started off the season pretty well. But I will pick the Saints to keep on rolling. I just feel like that win over the Rams, that's a huge confidence booster for the Saints. And they're going on the road in the jungle in Cincinnati. I feel like they might have to earn this one, but I think they'll get it. Next, we got the Atlanta Falcons versus the Cleveland Browns. And I remember weeks ago I had a Browns shirt on the show, and that if the Falcons can't keep winning, I would join the Baker bandwagon. Well, the Falcons, they seem to have won some games. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They haven't really beaten tough teams. They've only beaten the Giants. They've only beaten the Redskins. They've only beaten the Buccaneers. But it doesn't matter who you beat. It's just that you beat them. And I feel like the Falcons will have their winning streak up to 4. I just feel like this Falcons team, maybe it's starting to come together a little bit. The Falcons scheduled their next couple of games. They're winnable. So I'll take Atlanta to keep on rolling this week. Next, we have the Patriots and Titans. I've got the Patriots. I know the Titans had their best win of the season last week. Last week against the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. But I just feel like the Patriots team, I feel like they are right where they want to be. Even though it's a little bit earlier than what they normally are, I feel like this Patriots team, I feel like it's united now. I feel like after that slow start, I think it's starting to come together in New England. And they're ready to make another run to the Super Bowl. Next, with the Jaguars and the Colts. Now, I have been saying for the last year and a half the Jaguars are underrated. And now I'm hoping that this proves my point. That the Jaguars got lucky to win their division last year. With Andrew Luck not being on the field, the Texans losing to Deshaun Watson, and the Titans just being there. So I told everybody that the Jaguars were just lucky to win that division. And it's showing based on their playing so far this season. And I've got the Colts winning this matchup. I feel like the Jaguars, they should have traded for a quarterback at the trade deadline. They didn't do it. So either they're going to stick with Bortles for all eternity, or they're going to take one in the draft. But shouldn't matter. Colts should win. Next, we have the Cardinals and the Chiefs. I'm going to go with Pat Mahomes, everybody's friend. Everybody loves Pat. Even I enjoy Pat. And it's nice to see Pat throw some more touchdowns. I don't know, he'll probably throw at least 5 touchdowns in this game. I mean, the Cardinals just aren't that good of a team this season. Well, they haven't been. Although, maybe the Chiefs' defense will let them put the Cardinals in the game a little bit. But either way, I think Pat will be Pat. The Chiefs will win easily at Arrowhead. Next, we got the Buffalo Bills and New York Jets. And do I really have to pick this one? I don't know. I'll pick the Jets because I don't know. Moving on. Redskins and Buccaneers. I'm going to go with the Redskins to respond this week. The Falcons really turned them into mincemeat last week. And the Buccaneers, they're just kind of there. They're just kind of in existence. And the Fitzmagic and everything. But the Fitzmagic is clearly worn off. It clearly wore off week 3. And will we see some more Fitzmagic? We ain't seen it this week. I like the Redskins to respond and keep pace atop the NFC East. Next, we got the Chargers and the Raiders, and I'm going to go with the Chargers because the Chargers, there are some points in the season that I have said the Chargers will look like Super Bowl contenders, and one of them is going to be this week. In fact, I think the Chargers will in fact look like a Super Bowl team. Philip Rivers will probably go off in this game because the Raiders' defense is just awful. It's been awful for the last 2 years. And yeah, Chargers should win big, probably like 30-something to 10. It should be a score like that. The Chargers will definitely look like a Super Bowl championship team this week against the Raiders because Nick Mullins looked like the GOAT against the Raiders defense. Next, we got the Miami Dolphins versus the Green Bay Packers. And the Packers, I felt like last week was a must-win for the Packers to kind of have a chance, but the NFC North is still up for grabs. I mean, it's kind of going to be a gauntlet in that division this year. But I think the Packers, I think they get a much-needed win in Lambeau. I don't know. It just seems like there's got to be a point where the Packers just start turning it on and tearing off like 6 straight wins. It's got to happen sooner or later. And it shouldn't matter what the momentum starts off with as long as the momentum starts. And I think that's what's going to happen this week as I like the Green Bay Packers to win against the Dolphins. Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Rams. And I am going to take the Rams to respond after their first loss of the season. I just feel like Seattle, it should be in a rebuilding process. The Seahawks have looked very inconsistent so far this season. And the Rams, despite losing last week, I feel like they're one of the best teams in the NFL right now. Probably the favorite to win the Super Bowl. But something telling me the Rams will probably lose at least 2 more times throughout this regular season. So I will take the Rams. Next we have the Sunday Night Football match between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, the NFC East is up for grabs as well. In fact, there's a couple divisions in the National Football League that are still up for grabs, but the NFC East is going to be the focal point of this conversation. As the Cowboys lost Monday Night Football and Jerry World to fall to 3-5 on the season. And the Eagles are coming off a bye week. And the Eagles have momentum. They have confidence. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Coming off a bye week. And they're coming back home in Philadelphia. And the Cowboys just... They should have actually had a 17-0 lead in the Titans game early on at the very worst. The Cowboys lost the game for themselves. The Titans did not win it. The Titans were lucky to still be in that game at that point. So I don't really know what to think of the Cowboys or the Titans moving forward. But I do know that the Eagles, they will eventually get back to their ways. And they're probably already there. Like I said, 2-game winning streak coming off the bye week. The Eagles, I think, are going to dominate this game on Sunday Night Football. I am taking the Eagles to win this week. Next, we got the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. And oh, come on. Do I have to pick this game? I don't know, man. Both these teams are just completely horrible. The 49ers looked very good last week against the Raiders. And Nick Mullins got his first win in his debut. and I think his second start will go pretty well. I'm going to pick the 49ers because, again, same thing for Buffalo and the New York Jets. I don't know. Just like I said at the top of this thing, there's a couple good matchups, but a lot of them aren't going to be well on paper. Like Jacksonville, Indianapolis, that it doesn't look like a good matchup. Let's see, the Monday Night Football matchup doesn't really look like a good one. Is there honestly a way that we can get joint scheduling right now? Can we put the Panthers and Steelers on Monday night instead of the Giants 49ers? Can we switch those primetime ones around? Or can we get the Cowboys and the Eagles on Monday Night Football? Probably too much to ask for. But those are my picks this week. Just to review, I've got the Steelers, Bears, Saints, Falcons, Patriots, Colts, Chiefs, Jets, Redskins, Chargers, Packers, Rams, Eagles, and Niners all winning this week. So comment your picks down below. Also, I will see you later this week for my picks against the spread for college and NFL. I'm going to get to work on those right now. I'm going to pick out the ones that stick out to me this week. So let's hope we can keep the momentum going. Can we have another 3-1 week for NFL? Where can we get to that 4-0 that I desperately wanted to get for the whole season? I'm on a hot streak right now. Will it continue? We'll find out. I will see you then.